You know the drill at this point. Kevin and I are going to bullshit for 5 minutes. We haven't seen each other, so we got to catch up. We're going to talk about our teams. Half of it's going to be negative because these teams are trash. And then we're going to do a TikTok that people are going to argue about for 3 days straight and not understand that Vince is joking. And yes, the person we didn't name, when we say they're sixth, we're lying to you.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone.
Hope.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes. Bob Hope. I'm going to drink bleach. That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Welcome to episode 64 of Birds vs. Boys. We are back after a week off of vacation. Well, one of us on vacation. The other one just didn't get to work because one was on vacation. But you are here. We are back. If you're listening or if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for being here. The NFL never sleeps. The NFL never stops. We're getting closer and closer to training camps opening and then the eventuality of another NFL season. So before we get into everything we have, Vince, as always, is producing. He will be on later on with the TikToks. And next to me, as always, the man, the myth, the legend, Aidan Powers, my friend. Aidan, hello again. I missed you. How are you?
I missed you too. Hope you enjoyed Turks and Caicos. It was just as hot here.
No, it was less hot there.
It's less hot.
Yes.
It was 93 degrees here and it was less hot there.
It was like 84 there. Oh, it's perfect.
Well, yeah. Then you came back to this. Usually you get off the plane. You know how you get off the plane? You're like, "Ooh, wow, that's a culture shock." But like on the way to the place, you had it on the way back.
I stepped off the plane last night and I was like, what? It felt like I was just standing in front of an open oven.
It's sweat when you go outside weather.
Yep.
Doesn't matter what
I had to go
activity
stand in the customs line for an hour. So that was good.
Yeah, that's great. Well, listen, you're not going to get much sympathy from us.
Yeah, no, it feels good to be back though. A little bit tanner, but still here. I'm excited.
I'm not tanner. I do have a black eye. That happened.
Gotta go hard in the paint.
I did. That is exactly what happened. And a guy fouled me. I couldn't sum up basketball these days better than him literally punching me in the face, giving me a black eye, and then getting a technical foul, arguing that he didn't foul me. Like, if that doesn't sum up basketball these days where no one commits a foul, I don't know what is.
Did you hit the free throw?
I did. Yeah. Which at first I thought my eye was actually bleeding. It is like, you can't see it in the screen, but like I don't know, there's like little trauma spots where blood came to the surface. Yep. So I was laughing, but at the same time I was like, hey, he might actually screw my eye up.
Hey, all that matters is you made the free throw. Unlike others, we know.
Oh yeah. I'll put it this way. They didn't foul me on purpose. They did foul me though. But now that those guys are done running around town, I have a lot of time to focus on the Eagles.
Yes, you do. Oh,
thank you, Vince.
Flipping podcast.
I have a few things. A lot of them are kind of just funny things. It's not real news.
We have any technical notes though to start?
Oh, technical notes. Well, listen. Here's a technical.
You take 1 week off.
Oh, now we're all out of sync. Listen, there's no technical notes. We're back from vacation. Everybody should be as locked in as we are. You know the drill at this point. Kevin and I are going to bullshit for 5 minutes. We haven't seen each other, so we got to catch up. We're going to talk about our teams. Half of it's going to be negative because these teams are trash. And then we're going to do a TikTok that people are going to argue about for 3 days straight and not understand that Vince is joking. And yes, the person we didn't name, when we say they're sixth, we're lying to you. That's the technical notes for tonight. We'll probably have a guest next week. Okay.
And we're off.
We're off.
Oh, that's perfect. That was absolutely perfect. Sum up the show. Add it to the intro, Vince. Cox.
All right, but like I said, I do have mine are they're kind of serious, but not really. So if you would like to go first with any Cowboys news, we can.
Yeah, that's fine.
If not, I'll knock this stuff out.
So I was talking to you earlier about Pro Football Focus, and they did a ranking of all of the NFL rosters. And they're saying it's not NFL teams, but rosters, which I guess technically it is different. I don't know.
I get what they mean. I guess depth of a roster matters.
Yep.
Like some teams are top heavy. They might be better, but they're not 1 through 53 better. So I get it.
Could you guess the top 3 in order rosters?
The
You think
Chiefs.
that they did? 1.
Is it the Bucks 2?
Eh.
I didn't think the Bucks would be 2. They kind of
Bucks
get
were
carried by
1.
Tom Brady. They were 1.
Bucks are 1.
Okay. And Chiefs were 2.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And the third one, I really don't think it's Green Bay. I don't know. I guess Buffalo would be the other option playing in the conference championship. Everyone's really high on the Titans. Is it
Keep
Browns?
going down your list. Yes, it's the Cleveland Browns at 3.
Okay. Yeah. I can see
mean, they
it.
do have a stacked roster.
Mm-hmm.
But the
They're
Cowboys
very
came
good
in
at a lot of positions.
Mm-hmm.
Not 6.
8.
8?
Not 6.
Not 6.
They're way outside the TikToks.
Do you think 8 is fair?
I think that they're heavily putting 8 on Dak Prescott. I think they're overcompensating the defensive side of the ball with the strength of the quarterback, because they have Washington at 12, which I would say Washington has a better roster probably than the Cowboys, but the Cowboys have a better quarterback. So
which elevates other positions.
I think that's what they're doing. So
okay.
I think offensively the Cowboys are top 10. Defensively, I mean, I feel like that the lack of depth on defense, especially in the back end, maybe should bring them out of the top 10, but it's the Cowboys. Like every year they're going to be in the headlines, and every year they're going to have a loaded roster. So I don't know, but speaking of the secondary, speaking of the defense, I feel like it's Groundhog's Day all over again, because it is every single freaking offseason where, how's this secondary going to shape out? What's going to happen in the safety position? Because, what is going to happen at safety right now? Because right now it's Donovan Wilson and Demontre KZ. Donovan Wilson coming off half of a good season for the first time ever, and KZ's coming off a torn Achilles.
Feels like it's the book report that you had all summer to write and read the book, and then at the end of summer you're gonna be like, wow, I didn't read the book. How am I gonna write this report?
And then you're gonna answer it with the same old question 3 weeks after it was due. It's one of those things where you kind of wrote a half-ass one, and then the teacher was like, listen, I'm gonna give you another opportunity here to fix this. And then your answer to that is Earl Thomas. Still bringing that up. No. And the teacher's like, nope, we're not going to do that.
Nope. C minus as usual. But you had a chance that you boost yourself up from an F to a D minus.
So I don't know what they're going to do. I could be hopefully pleasantly surprised, because I think Demontre KZ, if healthy, can bring an element of ball hawking to this defense that they have not had in a long time. Mm-hmm. And Donovan Wilson did play really well in the second half of the season, and he's a hard hitter. I mean, he clearly was head and shoulders above Darian Thompson and I guess Clinton Dix, who didn't even make the roster. So I don't know why they just keep forgetting about this position. It doesn't exist.
It's how the Eagles handle linebacker. But yeah, I mean, I guess like you said, as long as you have a ball hawk and it works out and bounces go your way, they really just need to be a bend not break defense because the offense is so good. And they lost the turnover differential battle so many times last year that they were constantly in a hole, constantly having to make comebacks, and then it became impossible once they lost their starting quarterback. So if they could just get out of that hole, they're going to give up yards, but if they could just get out of that turnover battle hole that they're constantly in, I think they'll be much better off.
I agree. The only thing that scares me a little bit, and So they're obviously very young at corner, and that's usually not a good thing for a defense. So if you're very young at corner, like Trayvon Diggs is going to be your number one basically as a second-year player. They have boss man Fat, who has a chance to start across from him, or Nashawn Wright, who could have been taken in the 7th round. They took in the 3rd. And then they have Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis, who are okay veterans, if you want to call them that. But in that, when you have such young corners, give me at least one veteran, good safety back there to help these guys out. Could that be KZ? I hope so. I just don't know. And that's what I feel like every single year at this position with the Cowboys. It's the same thing. I just don't know.
Do you think they'd have any interest in Steve Nelson from the Steelers as the CB2? Well, he'd really honestly kind of be the CB1, but he is a CB2 in nature. You think they would go that route late in the summer?
I want to say yes, but probably no, because they don't make moves anymore like that. I mean, I even wouldn't. Richard Sherman's still sitting out there. He played in this scheme.
Yeah, that's odd.
I'm not saying he's Richard Sherman, Legion of Boom and Richard Sherman, because he's not, but he's still a really, really smart football player, and he could help that young secondary room.
He's not Richard Sherman, but he's not a 7th round graded cornerback who got drafted in the 4th round this year and has never stepped foot on an NFL field.
Thank you.
So yeah, he might be an upgrade.
But I guess the only issue with him is he said he's not going to play for a discount. He wants to still be getting paid like he was. So the Cowboys just won't dip their toe in that water.
Everybody says that until they realize what the market for them really is.
Exactly. And especially this year with the cap situation.
Mm-hmm.
Like those kind of veterans, those are the guys that are getting hit in the wallet. And like a guy like Richard Sherman, a guy like KJ Wright, if they like sit out this season because they didn't get the money and then the salary cap comes up next season, they're going to be done. I feel like their careers. I don't feel like Richard Sherman is going to take a year off and then be able to come back.
Not at this age. The world moves on without you. That's the cruel reality of the NFL. Mm-hmm. They're just going to move on without you.
So that's my soliloquy on the safety position. Basically, bring in a veteran corner to help these guys out because I don't know. So moving up, I'm basically staying in the defensive side here because we all know what the offense is. Except for Ezekiel Elliott, they keep. I don't know. Have you seen these videos with Zeke? I'm going off script here, where everybody they're tweeting these out and they're all over Instagram about how good Zeke looks, and he looks like rookie year Zeke. They don't show him running. He's just like they have like trash cans set up, and he's just hopping. Like he looks like a bunny rabbit hopping. That's not a good look.
The Philadelphia Classic, getting excited about an off-season workout video where there's no actual gameplay.
And he's hopping.
I've been there. Good luck.
But even if I saw like a trash can there, foot in the ground, and him take off, I'd be a little more excited than him hip-hopping around. Like I know Tony Pollard can put his foot in the ground and take off. Zeke just can't do that anymore. So I'm not going to get excited about him hopping around freaking trash cans. All right, back to the defense. I'm going to see if you can guess the player that I feel this season needs to have a Pro Bowl caliber year.
Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons.
Well, yeah, that's, no.
Cox.
Been on this team before. I'll give you that. He's been on this team. I feel like he needs to play at a Pro Bowl caliber. He doesn't have to make the Pro Bowl, but Pro Bowl caliber type season for this team to go where they may want to go and this defense to be middle of the pack.
DeMarcus Lawrence?
Nope. Same kind of realm, though.
On the line?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I don't know.
Randy Gregory.
That was what I was going to say. All right, hand up. I forgot that I wasn't sure if he was still on the team.
Yes.
That was the first person that came to my mind. I was like, they could really use a defensive lineman where you have depth that's not DeMarcus Lawrence.
because
Although DeMarcus Lawrence should probably just have a Pro Bowl season too.
he needs to, obviously. But when DeMarcus Lawrence had a guy on the other side of him, like when Quinn was there, Robert Quinn was going off. That took some heat off of DeMarcus Lawrence. Last year, he was just, Aldon Smith in the beginning of the season. He had 3 sacks in the first game, but then he fell off later in the year, and the double teams were just killing DeMarcus Lawrence. If Randy Gregory can be as good as they say and they think Randy Gregory can be, and he apparently looks, again, here we are getting excited about offseason work. They're saying he looks amazing. He has never had a full offseason and season where it was healthy, not getting suspended, not worried about if he was going to play or not. Like, one, he knows they're counting on him. 2, he's in a contract year. And 3, he's a stud. So put those things together, and that makes like a very appealing perfect storm for him to have a good season.
That's what threw me off. He gets suspended so much. I wasn't sure if he was still.
He's been on the Cowboys since like 2012 because they just like were able to hold on to his rights.
Mm-hmm.
He was Vince, look it up. When was Randy Gregory? He was a second-round pick in what year?
Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska. He was always a speed rusher, a little undersized, but
my guess is 2013 or 2014.
Yeah, I was going to say 2014. I remember exactly where I was. I was in Newtown at the saloon watching it when they drafted him.
Okay. 2015 NFL draft.
There it is. Okay. So he's been there for 6 years, basically.
Yeah.
And still there. And he's still.
Yep. Look at his career. 2018, 2020. That's it.
Yep.
They drafted him in 2015. Sheesh.
And look, he's got 10.5 sacks in how many games? So he has a chance to be an impact player that they need. So I'm excited for the chance for him. And then my last point here, I was going to talk about Tristan Hill as a forgotten man, but I'm going to wait till we get closer to training camp before I start evaluating guys that, do they have a chance of getting cut 2 seasons after they were drafted? But we'll get into that closer to training camp. But I know a couple weeks ago I went off about that sports fans are dumb, and I still think they are dumb. Why in this day and age, too, do people get so hot and bothered about what people say in the media when it comes to their team, and they get so offended?
Well, I think that it's just that you have a sense of pride in something, and you take it as offense as if it's like they're insulting your family when it's not. But continue.
I get that, but why should the Cowboys give a shit, or Cowboys fans, about what Aqib Talib has to say? Like, he went off and said that the Cowboys are not the next contender to win the NFC East. They're not the ones competing with Washington for the division. And I think he said it was the Giants. But who cares? Who cares? It's the middle of June, end of June. Okay, we're almost at July 4th. Who cares?
Go outside, take a walk.
Exactly.
Actually, don't. It's really hot. It would actually be worse. You should just stay online and argue more. You haven't argued enough. It was 93 degrees and the real feel was over 100. I don't think people are arguing enough online.
Yeah.
Never go outside.
If you don't want to go outside because it's too hot, just, make sure you follow us everywhere on social media and our podcast and YouTube.
Great plug. Good job.
But I don't know. I read, I see it. I follow these groups like Cowboys fans only. Like, I'm in this group on Facebook, and I don't know why I'm still in it, but they just post these articles, and it's like, Aqib Talib damages Cowboys, says they don't have a chance. And I'm like, okay, cool.
I've always taken it. So, I'll take offense to certain things people say when they're just wrong. That's an opinion. When people are misinformed about the team, say things are just wrong. That's what gets me fired up in the media, because I'm like, why is this national talking head telling the entire nation something that is just incorrect? But I almost like when commentators or announcers or analysts have an opinion or a take where they don't like your team. I'd rather fly under the radar.
Yes.
If people are saying that the Giants are going to win the NFC East, that's a bad take. I just don't think they're that good. But I'd rather people say that in July. I'm tired of being the July on paper champion. Just
Agreed.
Go out on the field and do it.
And what Cowboys fans need to realize is everybody knows what happens with the Cowboys. They bring eyeballs, they bring ratings. Of course, all these talking heads are going to talk about the Cowboys. They don't have enough to talk about, so they're going to make up bullshit, and they're going to also always try and say something bad about the Cowboys because that's going to get eyeballs, that's going to get people talking, and that's going to stir the pot. So that's all it is.
I was about to say, I went on Get Up. I didn't go on Get Up. I went on their Twitter page today. Yeah, right. If we make it to that stage, we were really cooking up on this podcast. I was looking something up for Drunk Off PNR, another podcast you should listen to. So I was on their page and looking for something in the NBA playoffs that happened last night, and they were legit doing a Cowboys argument. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. How do you guys do this every day?
Every day.
It's unbearable.
Poppycock.
Great. I don't think we can top the use of that word.
Cox. Poppy. Cox. Perfect.
We're back.
We're fully back. But yeah, that's all I got with the Cowboys. I think it's just so predictable.
Yeah. Again,
whether it's the Cowboys don't have safeties or everyone in the media is going to just constantly drag them and talk about them. It's just so obvious.
Yeah, we're living in a constant. We're on the same hamster wheel again and again and again.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get into the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, big day, end of an era in Philadelphia, in South Philadelphia. The Carson Wentz banner has come down.
Does that mean I can take down the Super Bowl banner in my basement as well? No.
Okay. That stays up. That one stays up.
Awesome.
So a lot of people have come up with some suggestions for what should replace it. Our friend E-Rock, who has been on the show, I loved his suggestion of the Go Birds kid during the NFC Championship. He's got that up
Love
here.
That.
I thought that was fantastic. I'm literally looking. Vince has it on screen for people watching on YouTube. Tomorrow is Bobby Vanilla Day. Congrats on collecting $1.2 million. But I'm looking at E-Rock's tweet, and it's literally going up by like hundreds of likes as we talk. So it's very much going viral. That was perfect, though. So a lot of people have had a few different opinions on what should replace it. I saw the Nelson Aguilar guy, volunteer firefighter, as well.
Did you see the Birds vs. Boys one?
I was to say, yes, Birds vs. Boys pod. Somebody very smart on that page put the Jeff Garcia baby guy, which is fantastic. Listen, all our years came close.
I feel like that's such a perfect resemblance of the fan base. Like every year they could have 2 wins and then they win 1 game and the whole fans are like, listen, we're gonna do it.
All the years came close. The way he says came close makes me laugh every time because you can just feel the pain of a guy who sat through like 20 seasons of backbreaking losses. He's like, every other year came close. I think obviously, I guess you can't do it, but I think it'd be really funny because it's just like this viral story that everyone in Philadelphia gets. Like they left up the franchise quarterback banner forever when he wasn't on the team. Like, what are you going to replace it with? It'd be funny if they did something like that.
Yes.
If they put pictures of fans or a collage of weird stuff like that. Personally, I should do it. You know how they do they put flags at half staff when someone important dies. I was thinking like we could have one flag up for if it's a win that week and one flag that's like signifies a loss. So everybody driving by knows what the Eagles have done.
I love that.
I think the Correll Buckhalter backwards pass from the 1-yard line as a running back should be the banner when we lose. So just put that up. And if everyone who drives by who sees a running back throwing a pass backwards from the 1-yard line knows that. Are you all right? You looked up like
The thunder. I don't know.
Thunder's shaking your house.
Yeah, I'm just hoping I don't lose power here in the middle of the broadcast.
I was about to say, great. If everyone's listening now and you're like, wow, they're 28 minutes in, they're not even close to the TikToks, and the show's only 30 minutes, it's because the thunderstorm hit. We no longer have power. Probably should have charged my phone, but it's too late now. I'm going back to the dark ages. I'm going to write in parchment and send you guys owls. But anyway, yeah, so that was my idea. Also, no one has said, where are they taking the Wentz banner? Is this like a Joe Paterno statue situation where it's just going to float around and be some mystery? Is it like that floated all around State College? Is this going to float around all of Pennsylvania? I would take it. Listen, I got a pretty sweet setup back here, but I will add the Carson Wentz banner. I think that'd be perfect for this podcast.
It would be perfect.
Who do I email about this?
Carson
himself.
Does he get it?
Yes. I think they should. I think.
Can you imagine
also,
if they just like rolled it up and FedExed it to him and didn't even say anything? And
no,
it is
just
huge,
like, oh yeah, you forgot this.
like in one of those big ass circular cardboard things where you roll it up like a poster and put it in. It's just massive.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but a giant one.
Yes,
like a whole tube, like a whole shipping tube. I live on the corner, so like outside that window. If you're watching on YouTube, on the wall behind where the Eagles banner is behind me is just a giant wall for the complex.
Oh,
I think I have some space for this. It'll be like when Dwight in The Office gets the fumigation banner and rolls it over. My neighbors are just going to have to put up with the fact that I have a giant 6'5" ginger quarterback.
You actually came up with the I like the winning or losing flag. Because a lot of stadiums and teams do unique things with flags. Like Notre Dame at the top of the stadium, the week before the game, they have the flag of the team that they're playing flying next to the Notre Dame flag. Yeah. Like Yankee Stadium, a lot of people don't know this, but they have every team in the MLB's flag around the top of the stadium. They're split up by division. And at the start of the series, they put the flags in order of the division lead. So like, where the Phillies would be like third, like Mets.
Fourth.
Yeah, fourth, third.
Well,
so it's pretty interesting what can be done with flags and banners.
See, yeah, I like that. I think we should do, maybe my idea is stupid, but maybe just do like a winning or losing banners is okay.
I love that.
I don't know what they would do for the losing banner, but I think my idea was pretty good.
Just and like you like a picture of you like this, just on a banner.
Yeah. Listen, this podcast is given no shortage of memes that you could post as a banner and be like, well, they lost this week.
Don't even have to check Twitter.
There's that ugly idiot up on the screen again. They must have lost to the Giants.
Can you imagine if like Philadelphia, like from the link, they lose on a Sunday night game and it's like the bat signal over the city, and it's just like your imprint like this, just over Philadelphia all night.
Honestly, knowing my life, it would probably be very fitting.
Anybody like somebody that had to work and was just getting off work, it's like, well, don't even have to check Twitter.
Yeah, they just look up like, God damn it, there's that kid again. They must have lost.
That would be so good.
Great idea. I like it. I think that could catch on. Listen, here, Vince has the video for it.
We just beat the Giants without a doubt. New Orleans is nothing to us. We are the EAGLES Eagles! Yeah, baby! Listen, this is our year. Every other year, we've came close, but this year is our year. Jeff Garcia, baby, is our baby. He's it, baby.
He's our baby. Oh, look at that poor woman. They're PJ
Wellingham's waitress. Yeah. That's one of my favorite parts. But how about when we lose, we'll put up a picture of me. When we win, we send a picture of Larry Poff into the sky, so everybody knows that all the other years they came close. But this year is our year,
our year, baby.
What a guy.
Oh, that's so good.
All right. To the now present day quarterback for the Eagles, we have Jalen Hirts. and I'm sure this has been floating around the internet, so I just have a quick take on it. Chris Sims, who's pretty respected, came out with his top 40 quarterbacks in the NFL. I think Vince is pulling it up for everybody on YouTube. I'm going to read off some of the names. So what makes this interesting is Jalen Hirts did not make the list of top 40 quarterbacks. There's only 32 NFL teams.
He's 41.
He's 41. That was great by you. He's 6. He's 41. So here are some of the names that are ahead of him. Carson Wentz is 18, by the way. Both Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston are 24 and 25. Zach Wilson. Daniel Jones is 26. Mac Jones is 30.
Kellen Mond being on there is and above Trey Lance.
That was the one. I'm glad you brought that up, because then they asked Chris Sims, like, hey, no Jalen Hurts. What's up with that? Where do you see him talent-wise? Why is he not in the top 40? And his response was, like, I could have lived with this take if he was like, yeah, I think he just came in relief, gave them a bit of a spark, but it was mostly due to his legs. I don't see him being an actual NFL quarterback. But he said, I just need to see more from him, which is interesting considering he has Kellen Mond at 37, who is a rookie never playing an NFL snap and will not do so this year because he will be backing up Kirk Cousins. So I don't know. I think Chris Sims pulled an Aidan when I forgot about Derrick Henry in my top 5 running backs, and he just forgot that Jalen Hurts existed in the top 40.
I mean, he's got Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, all who I think we need to see a little more from.
Like a snap, anything.
Can they take a snap under center?
Yes. I'd like to see more of them, like in a training camp.
Look at this. Baker.
I haven't been the biggest Jalen Hurts guy, but I think I'm ready to make a huge stand for him here and go to battle. He's a top 40 quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean, he's a winner too. He's done it everywhere he's ever played. Vince, put that back real quick. What are your thoughts here of him putting Josh Allen above Aaron Rodgers?
I guess if you're projecting to the future, it makes sense. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers was the MVP of the league for a reason last year. Unless you're considering factors like, I don't know what teams Aaron Rodgers is going to be on, or if he even shows up this year. Deshaun Watson at 4. I mean, we'll see if he's allowed to play. Speaking of book reports that you have to read the book and do the project before summer's over. Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what are we doing here?
Or we're just going to forget that whole thing happened.
Yep.
Like, we have to have some decision. Either he did something or he didn't, but we got to figure something out.
Yeah. I feel like, it's just been swept under the rug.
Yeah. They just literally just wanted summer to happen so that he could, just everybody would forget about it. Top 10 quarterbacks via some guy from the PFF. He's got Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen. So not awful. Dak Prescott is 6. He's 6. He did it. Legitimately 6th.
Congratulations, Dak.
Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, that's just stupidity. Baker Mayfield at 9 and Lamar Jackson at 10. That's just how do you have a job if you think Lamar Jackson is not as good as Matt Ryan or Kirk Cousins at this point? Like, Vince, take it off the screen. We can't give that guy any shine for saying stuff like that. But so I thought that list was pretty funny. And I thought the comments about the list were kind of funny because I was like, buddy, I've been there. We've all been there. You just forgot.
I feel like Chris Sims does this every year. And he does do this every year. I remember, I used to listen to the Dan Lebitard show a lot, and he would come on and every day and just give one. They did 40 days in a row, and he would just give the one quarterback that day. So it was like, and that's all he would be on the show for.
Oh, the NFL offseason can be a treacherous, barren wasteland.
Yeah.
There's just not a lot going on. And that's the stuff you have to do. We're going to bring you on for one quarterback a day. I also remember he is a huge Kellen Mond guy, so it does not shock me that he's on the list, even though it's 37. He was very high on him in his preseason. He had him like second in terms of behind Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He had him very, very high.
Yeah, he had him above Justin Fields, Zach Wilson.
Mac Jones, all of them.
Yep.
He had him very, very high. So yeah, that was interesting. And then I've got one last thing here. It kind of ties into something that a little Vince's nugget that he found for us. But Merrill Reese today said that he heard that the Eagles were close on a Zach Ertz trade to Buffalo. Merrill Reese, the longtime radio announcer, I doubt he'd be making stuff up. That's not really his angle. He's kind of already famous, doesn't really need to spew rumors and stuff like that. But the Zach Ertz to Buffalo rumors are like back in the day when there was that J. Cole and Kendrick album that was supposed to come out.
Yep.
And like every year we did the thing where we were like, oh, this album's close. This album's close. We're getting close to the Cole and Kendrick album. Still hasn't happened. That's the point that we've reached with the Zach Ertz to Buffalo rumors.
Yeah, it's been happening since mid-season, I feel like.
Yes.
Feels like it's been happening for 2 years.
Like the minute that Zach Ertz blew up on Howie Roseman in training camp last year, they're like, all right, so where's he going after this? And it's been Buffalo the entire time.
Yep. And he's still in Philadelphia.
And he might still be here when the season starts. But we'll see on that one. Like I said, I don't know why Merrill Reese would make that up, but we'll see what comes first, the Cole and Kendrick album or Zach Ertz to Buffalo.
And speaking of Merrill Reese, too, I saw he was down at the OD with Jason Kelce doing some bartending for Eagles Autism awareness, which is amazing. They're trying to raise a ton of money. And I'm so thankful that event went on and it wasn't really found out about, because that could have canceled this and Kelce might have left and they wouldn't have been able to raise all that money. It's really, I mean, look at him chugging this beer.
Yeah, he's great. He belongs in Jersey Shore. He was there. There were a few teammates there bartending with him. He was the star of the show. Howard Eskin was there, like you said, Merrill Reese. It was I keep seeing him promoted all over the internet. So good job by everybody promoting this so we can raise money for autism and everything like that. Tons of videos, tons of promo with Jason.
Tons of people there, it looks like, in the video.
Yeah, good that everybody got out there. On, because it was promoted so much on social media. So pretty cool moment. Good off-season thing. Jason Kelce, man of the people.
Good guy. He was in it to win it the whole time, no matter what. He was going to be there to raise the money for the kids.
Yep. So, one more thing on the Ertz trade, because this leads perfectly into what Vince found for us. So the Ertz trade to Buffalo. Lesean McCoy had some comments this week. If you want to, Vince, if you want to hop in right now and talk about this with us, let's do it, because after this, we are getting into our TikToks, and we left some hints as to what the TikToks were going to be in the show. We'll see if you picked up on it.
So are you gonna talk about like the worst trade in Eagles history?
Yes.
All right, then I'll bring up my worst Cowboys trade in Cowboys history.
Perfect.
I don't know
if you remember.
I don't know if you remember my take about this trade from like 2 years ago that never saw the light of day because it was so bad.
I don't. Are you ready to bring it up now? Well, real quick, let me read over what happened. So, speaking of Eagles and Bills trades, we all know Lesean McCoy in his heyday was traded by Chip Kelly to the Bills for Kiko Alonso. So, he said earlier this week, he was like, he pretty much said like, WTF, I can't believe I was traded. This was the dumbest effing trade of all time. Those were his thoughts on being traded to Buffalo. So that's where we stand. This is a great quote. I remember asking myself, who the F is that guy? Good point. Great point by LeSean there. So
I remember that, and I was asking, like, what is happening? Yeah.
I was literally at spring training for the Phillies, and I looked down at me and my dad were going to have a nice moment. It's so Philly to be like, all right, we're enjoying a nice Philly event. We're going to have a nice dinner. Everything is calm and well. And then your star running back gets traded. It's like you can never have a nice day. It just can't.
It took them 20 minutes to negotiate Lesean McCoy for Kiko Alonso straight up.
20 minutes. I do remember that part, which is like, you didn't want to ask around the room, you know? Like, we're planning our fantasy draft, and it's like a lot of back and forth. Like, what day's going to work? What time's going to work? You didn't think like, hey, maybe I should ask other people what they think about this trade before I do it.
Shout out to that Instagram account too. I like the work those guys do.
Yeah, they had some. They featured some handsome gentlemen on their page recently. I liked it.
I like
Vince, what's their Instagram page?
They are
Philly Eagles Central, I think.
Philly Eagles Central. Yeah.
Nice, perfect, good job by them. Featured a
Good
lot
job.
of
If you want to
handsome
look
gentlemen
at
on that page.
the number 2 comment on this post.
I wonder who that could be. Follow
Yeah.
Birds vs. Boys on Instagram, by the way. Vince made an Instagram for it. So good time to shout that out. But yeah, so people were talking about that was the worst traded Eagles history. Vince, do you want to get your take off about this? And then we'll ask Kevin what he thinks the worst trade in Cowboys history was.
Well, yeah. So 2 years ago, I made the argument that, again, over 2 years ago, I made the argument that this trade won the Eagles the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm kind of going to backpedal on that take now, just because wasn't worth it. But yeah, that the Kiko Alonso trade ended up, I forget who we traded him for, and then you parlayed it into
Carson Wentz.
trading up for Carson Wentz.
Yeah. So
Chip Kelly
They traded him to Miami, right?
We traded him to Miami to flip from 13 to 8 to get to 8, and then traded with Cleveland to get up to 2. So you are correct. Without the Kiko Alonso trade, like I love how all of those things tied it. It's the perfect like example in life of everything has meaning. Everything happens for a reason. Everyone has like usually I go to work this way, but I was late, and then there was like a final destination scene on the route that I usually take. Everything happens for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
My version of that in life is that Kiko Alonso was traded for Lesean McCoy, and he ended up being Carson Wentz, who won us the Super Bowl.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, shout out Chip Kelly. He won us the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Love that.
Now, Kevin, what's your worst trade in Cowboys history?
2008.
Okay.
During the season, the Cowboys traded with the Detroit Lions. Do you guys know who I'm going to say here?
Roy Williams.
Yes. Do you know what they gave up for Roy Williams?
That I actually don't remember.
A 1, a 3, and a 6.
All in the same draft?
All in the same draft. And then they immediately signed him to a 6-year, $54 million contract. Immediately. Want to hear some of his stats for the Cowboys? So he played 3 years for the Cowboys. 40 games, started 29. He had 150 targets, 94 catches, 1,300 yards, and 13 touchdowns.
So he had two touchdowns for each year of the contract extension. Pretty much. He was, you know what his problem was? And I know he came before Calvin Johnson Megatron, but he looks so much like Calvin Johnson Megatron that you fool your brain into thinking that he was good.
Yep. I remember he'd always do the hook 'em horns. I saw him play when I went to Cowboys Stadium for the opening game against the Giants that they lost. And I was he was one of those guys that was just like, he had all the talent. He had, like you said, he looked like Megatron. And I was always like, all right, he's going to do it this game. It's going to come together. It's going to happen. And then it didn't.
Correct me if I'm wrong. He was on the Texas team with Vince Young that beat USC in the national championship.
I believe so.
Just like looking at those rosters is just unreal. They had the game on during quarantine when they were like going back early in the pandemic when we couldn't leave the house, and they were showing like greatest games ever. And they showed the national championship USC Texas. Just crazy to see who's on those rosters.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like the early 2000s Miami teams. Like they had like Ed Reed and Sean Taylor.
Yeah. Vince Wilfork, like Greg Olson. It was like, that was just one team.
Warren
That's
Sapp.
the craziest part. Warren Sapp was on that team. Oh, not Vince Wilfork. The Kellen Winslow was on the team.
Yep. Kellen Winslow Jr. Yep.
They had so many people.
It was insane.
So many people.
It's
We're
insane.
missing names. That's the craziest part. But yeah, that's just one team. That's always crazy to look back at.
But yeah, so I that still is burned in my memory.
That's more than D-Hop and Julio got traded for, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
because that was 2 twos.
Yep.
Depending on how you value it, I guess.
Well,
But
and that was why Cowboys fans were so nervous again when Jerry gave up a 1 for Amari Cooper. Everyone's like, here we go again with a mid-season first-round pick given up for a wide receiver.
that is tough to, it is tough.
But I feel like Amari has been working out a little bit better than Roy Williams did.
Production-wise, I would say so.
Mm-hmm. All right, is it time? Vince is here, so we might as well get into the talks.
It is time. So, we were off last week, so we got to get back on our game. We're going to put a few TikToks out for the people tonight. We have 2 of them. Like I said, we left a few hints. I know Kevin emphasized the one, and we talked a little bit about the other. So, 2 TikToks tonight. The first one, like we talked about, Kevin was on vacation last week. Everyone's going to be vacationing for the 4th of July, it seems. So we thought, let's tie that vacation theme into the NFL. We're doing top 3 stadiums we'd like to visit.
I am prefacing that I am doing stadiums I have not been to.
I am too. Vince, let's put that in there. Stadiums we have not been to.
Yep.
So I kind of factored in maybe the city a little bit, maybe the vibe, not just the stadium itself, but we'll count them down. Our normal triangle, let's get it. I'll go first. I've got Arrowhead, Kansas City Chiefs. I don't think you can top the tailgate. I just feel like they probably have the best tailgate. Outside tailgate food, I guess I should say. Plus, always a raucous atmosphere. They have a great team. I'm going Arrowhead, Kansas City.
3 for me is Heinz Field. It may be one of the closest ones to us in, that I would want to go to. And I'm not a big fan of the Steelers at all, but those terrible towels when they're kicking, I feel like Steelers fans are so raucous. They're always so into it. Pittsburgh, they say, is a really cool city too. A lot of good bars. So Heinz Field, when a night game, when they're wearing like those all blacks and those yellow towels are just kicking, get me right in there.
Cool. 3 for me, I have Lucas Oil Stadium, especially now that our guy Carson Wentz is there. I drove by it once. Indy was nice driving through it. So I feel like it'd be fun to watch a game there. It's a newer stadium, so it's nice, and it's inside.
Got pale skin ears. Keep out of the sun.
All right. At 2, I have SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles for the Rams and the Chargers. I know a lot of people, when they go to places to see stadiums, are like, oh, I want to see the tradition and the history of the game. No, shut up. I want to go see a state-of-the-art stadium that's like an 8th wonder of the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's everything is brand new, and it's like Smart House from Disney Channel. I don't care about tradition. I want to sit in a stadium where probably a robot is going to bring me my beer. And it's going to be I'll pretty much be on the field with a giant scoreboard that's 1,000 feet.
Can't go wrong with that. All right, 2 for me is no idea that this was what it was called. Don't know if it changed names recently, but Lumen Field.
I didn't know they changed.
No idea that it changed, but that is the Seattle Seahawks stadium. I mean, it has to be on the list. The 12s are insane. I want to be there when they're raising that 12 flag and the place is just going wild. I just need to be in that atmosphere and hear what that actually sounds like. Because I was at the Cowboys Stadium opener when they were playing against the Giants, and it was so loud in there when Eli Manning was driving down the field to win the game that I literally had to sit down because I thought I was going to pass out because like the pressure in my head because it was so loud. So I can't even imagine what it's like in Seattle.
Number 2 for me, I have Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Again, inside. Also, it's 2 stadiums, so that's cool. One in New Orleans, one in Atlanta.
2 for 1 special here.
Yeah, one's, I don't know if you want to call the Superdome a historic landmark at this point, but kind of is. And then the one in Atlanta's like super high tech, supposedly. So like you said, robot delivering my beers, that'd be cool.
Yeah. A lot of indoors. All right. At 1, I have Mile High Stadium in Denver. Might be a little bit of a off the beaten path one, but I've always been fascinated with like the incomplete after every incomplete pass. I think it's a pretty solid fan base. I love the mountains in the background. I think Denver's a cool city. Seeing everybody decked out in orange when it's kind of coming to that sunset, I think you really can't beat that in terms of like for us on the East Coast, like a primetime game.
All right, one for me, it's Lambeau, and it has to be in the winter. Has to be when it's snowing. I want to tailgate with those people. They have nothing else to do in that town but football. Like I said, I know a friend whose brother coaches there. They say they tailgate for practice because they literally have nothing else to do. I want to go at the tailgate. I want to be in there seeing Lambeau leaps. I want snow all around me. I want to be like in the bubble jacket, like those people can't move because it's so cold. I want to experience it all. And then I want some nice middle American family to invite me over to dinner after the 1 o'clock game where the Packers just won. And we just have to walk about 3 feet away from the stadium and, oh, there's their house. And now I'm having, delicious chili.
You really thought that one out. Jesus.
That all just came to me right in the moment.
Number one for me, I think it's called Allegiant Stadium, the Raiders' new stadium in Vegas, the one that looks like the Death Star. Indoors, brand new stadium, probably super air conditioned or heated. Not a lot of outside happening there. That's real important.
They have a club in there, a legit club.
Inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the end zone. Is this the first time in the TikTok history where we haven't had any overlays?
Probably.
It might be. We'll need some of the dedicated TikTok followers to figure that out for us. But
let us know.
I think it might be.
I think it is. All right, right into the second.
Yes, let's do it. Let's keep on moving. Let's keep the momentum. Second one we're doing, top backup quarterbacks in the NFL. I will start, and we will start. We're going back to Allegiant Stadium. I have Marcus Mariota. I'm not convinced that Derek Carr is actually better than he is. He probably shouldn't even be the backup.
Okay. 3 for me. I'm going to get roasted by the TikTokers for this one, but I don't care. It's Colt McCoy for the Cardinals. Dude always just finds a way to win. I've always loved him. He's probably not 3, but he's 3 for me. And hey, all he has to do is throw it up to frickin' DeAndre Hopkins. So figure it out.
Number three for me. I have sort of an interesting one. I have Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. They are each other's backup. I don't think they know who the starter is, and neither of them is good enough to start in the league. And they're both basically almost good enough to be a backup. So I have Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston at number 3.
Look at you. Two for one special in stadium, 2 for 1 special in quarterbacks.
Both New Orleans.
Yeah.
Oh,
how about that?
Yeah. I did it on purpose.
All right, at 2, I have Blake Bortles now with the Packers. Depending on the Aaron Rodgers situation, he might end up the starter. But regardless, he seems like a guy who will come in and give the Packers a win or two this year. And honestly, it's not too far away from when he was leading to the Jaguars to the AFC Championship.
2 for me is Jacoby Brissett, however you want to pronounce it. He's down in Miami now, backing up Tua. But hey, he could compete for that job. I don't think he's going to win it, but he did an honorable job when he was up in Indy, when he had to start for the season after Andrew Luck. I think he's a good football player, not going to win you a Super Bowl guy, but a very, very, very solid backup quarterback who could start for you. So I'm going Jacoby Brissett in Miami at 2.
Number 2, I have Andy Dalton. You said I wouldn't do it, and I did it. Honestly, though, I think he could start. He hasn't been on a great team he's on the Bears now. He was on the Cowboys last year. That wasn't a great team. He's not going to lose you a game, though. He's going to come in. He's going to do his job. If you threw him on a team that was like the rest of the team was ready to go. The rest of the team
not the Bears.
Yeah, exactly. Not the Bears. If you threw him on like the Bucs or the Chiefs, I feel like maybe not the Chiefs because it's a little. Patrick Mahomes is a little bit different to work with. But if you threw him on like the Bucs or something, you're going at least 4-4 with him. You get to close out the season with him.
The Washington defensive line doesn't take his head off.
Okay.
All right.
At 1, I have Nick Foles. I can't have this banner behind me I can't have this tattoo that says Super Bowl champion because I don't have it without backup quarterback Nick Foles, who went toe-to-toe with the greatest quarterback of all time and beat him in a Super Bowl and went on one of the greatest hot streaks of all time. Number 1, Nick Foles.
Also drafted by Chip Kelly. Thanks, Chip.
Thanks, Chip.
Chipper. Number 1 for me, he was traded from Carolina out to Denver. It's Teddy Bridgewater. I think he's technically the backup right now. Again, a guy that I think could win the starting job from Drew Lock, possibly. He's a hell of a competitor. Dude's been through so much in his career, and I feel like he's always come up at the, with the short end of the straw with the injury in Minnesota when he was playing well, and then he goes to Carolina. He signs the deal, and then they ship him out after signing Sam Darnold. So I feel like he has a chip on his shoulder, and he's a guy that's going to compete and can win you football games.
Yet another reason that Chris Sims list was complete garbage, and I think he made it in the middle of the night because he forgot to do the book report. He had him and Drew Lock back to back, and also Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston back to back. I think he was just like Broncos Saints, and he just tossed names on the list.
Mm-hmm.
So number 1 for me, we're going to bring this full circle. We're going back to Allegiant Stadium. I have Derek Carr. I think everything about this guy, down to his family name, screams backup quarterback. And I think you're right. I think Marcus Mariota does have a shot to win the job for him. I don't think he's good enough to be a starter, I guess, if I said Andy Dalton's good enough to be a starter. But Derek Carr has backup written all over him.
I think you're going to get crushed by the TikTok commenters that you didn't pick yourself, Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, wow. Can't believe you forgot that one.
I had him on the list for a second. I didn't make the connection. I probably should have threw him on there.
Come on. Bad move.
That happens. It happens. Sometimes people forget the reigning rushing champ on the top running back list.
Sometimes. Sometimes they do.
It happens. I mean, that's all I got. We're right at an hour. This is exactly the type of show producer Vince enjoys.
Yeah. Good to be back, boys.
It is.
It's going to be shorter than an hour because of something that they don't know about.
Yes.
So
Thunderstorms.
Cool.
Thunderstorms. Yeah. But yeah, no, we have a lot cooking in terms of guests, and we're really starting to work on format of shows during the NFL season, maybe some things that we want to bring into the fold, different things we could do each week once we're back to 2 shows. So keep growing with us, keep following, spread the word, make sure you're following on Twitter. Like Aidan said, the new IG that Vince made. I mean, listen on Apple, Spotify, follow us on YouTube so you can see our pretty faces. But I mean, we're everywhere, so we're not that hard to find.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That is
Be the team you promised me you were going to be this year!
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.